Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to After Dinner Pipe and Coffee. Tonight we're going to forego the coffee because I have my son, my second born, joining us. His name is Jake.
Howdy.
He has my initials.
Are you allowed to say that on the internet?
Mm-hmm.
What your initial? JDW? Yeah. Williams Clan.
Smoking the General, Missouri. Have some Boswell's. Very good.
Smells good.
Hmm.
It could smell bad, but it smells good.
And my oldest, my pride und my joy, is off screen.
Howdy.
We thought we'd make a video together real quick. I wanted to show two of my five.
There is 5 of us, isn't there?
Yeah.
Five that claim to be mine. So I wanted to show y'all something. Go ahead, Jake. You wanted to...
No, I was gonna say I mean I don't look like you, but Mitchell sure does. It's like a spitting image.
It's the FedEx boy. FedEx mom. So, I want to show you. This is just a carry bag that I had, right? And I took... Set the pipe down for a second. And I picked up some styrofoam. You see my pipe, my MacArthur pipe up there. So in there, you can put all your pipe and supplies. And I took styrofoam, and I cut holes in the styrofoam. Stuff these in there. Same for the airplane. Just stuff them in there. Then when we do pipe meetups, nothing breaks loose.
What was that bag originally meant for? Is it specific to like pipe smoking community? Or
There's a CPAP machine.
Oh, okay. Probably do the same thing with like a lunchbox too, right? Like a big
Hmm?
cooler, yeah.
Anything else like that?
Yeah. Just need some serious styrofoam.
Ingenuity. So Jake is an artisan in his own right. He makes pottery. Went to school, got an education. Pottery was your secondary, right?
No.
It was an elective.
Yeah.
And he loved
Hobby.
a hobby, and he turned it into a career. And he's in for the weekend because he was at a conference in Harrisburg. He lives out Pittsburgh way. Wave your hand down there.
Yes, sir.
Do me a favor. Go ahead and turn the light switch on in there.
Fire went out for a minute.
Yep. Squirrel got tired. Took a break. So, anyhow.
So
So
when
I-
you move, are you gonna get a wood stove?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that like a goal when you move?
No.
You set that as like a prerequisite? Like
My-
you will have a wood stove?
I'm going to have an outhouse, too.
You really want one of those?
Sharon will love an outhouse.
Yeah, just tell her to
She won't go with me, but she'll love the outhouse.
smack the
Because she
seat
won't
a
have to
couple
use
times.
that. Yeah. But anyhow, so we went out to dinner. Mitch got up to go to dinner. Mitch is the oldest. The shy one. We went out to dinner, and I asked Jake and Mitch if they'd be in the video. Jake said yes. Mitch said no. He doesn't want the girls, driving him. The women love him. He's a chick magnet.
Yeah, let me tell you. Jeez.
Pipe smoke community sure has a lot of women in it.
Yeah.
Dude, looks like a lady.
My viewership's 100% male. I have nothing to worry about. Although, not that there's anything wrong with that. Isn't that how Seinfeld used to say it? Not that there's anything wrong with that. But anyhow, Boswell's Very Good is very good. It is good. Leaves a good taste. It's got a good aroma. You like the aroma?
Yeah, it's not bad.
Very
Not
big
bad.
melon. Light tobacco.
And that's what you, when you're with a bunch of people, you want to smoke something that the aroma's good.
Yeah, you don't want to drive them away. It's not like cigarettes, where you're like, oh god, you smell like a burnt cigarette. No, you smell like a nice.
I tried one. To me, it tasted like vomit. I sent it to your Uncle Ed in Texas.
Uh-huh.
He thinks it's great. I don't understand. I think it's me. I don't know.
Pipe
I don't.
tobacco?
Yeah, I don't like the aroma,
Oh.
and I think it smells like and tastes like vomit, and he likes it. So I gave it to him.
You can't really smell it though if you're smoking it. I mean, you can taste it, but like your taste is gonna be different than my smell.
You let it leak out, and I think I call it retro inhaling. I don't know.
I call it fresh smoking.
Jake vapes. We have a lot of pipe smokers that vape. What do you think of the vaping being a cigarette smoker formerly?
I hate it. It's a crutch. It's no nicotine vape juice. It tastes not like a cigarette. It's not a cigarette. I want a cigarette. The only reason I do this is because I want a cigarette. Like you're smoking right now, and that like triggers me. It's been a month, and I still want a cigarette. That's why I vape. That's the only reason I vape. I mean, this isn't a high quality vape. This doesn't like have the button woodjamajigger that like turns up, the battery so you get like a full cloud. This is just like rip and spit kind of thing. It's not. I don't know. It's all right.
I don't vape. I don't think I'd ever vape because vaping you inhale like a cigarette, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I don't.
It's just water vapor. I mean, did you
I would
have a
never-
fixed vaporizer when you were a kid in your room, like a humidifier? When
We
you were
didn't.
sick?
We didn't have electrical things when I was a kid.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah,
That's a
your-
new invention.
Your dad would pick up the bows and arrows too when the Indians shot at him and shoot back at him, right?
This is the kid that when I turned 40, we had cake, and he said, innocently, "Just think, Dad, your life's half over." Not meaning anything bad by it. He was just making a comment. I'm turning 50. He wants to put me in a nursing home, probably. The whole time we were out to dinner.
Not yet.
You can't take care of a lot of land, Dad. You're old, and everything. I'm not even 50. I run circles around these guys. Well, not without an oxygen tank, but
I was gonna say I don't think any of us can run very many circles. We're not exactly the fittest individuals.
I'll run a circle right now.
he's a potter. Fires pottery. I showed you one of the mugs before. I'm working out something with him right now. Both of them play guitar and sing. Jake's a songwriter.
So is Mitch.
Huh?
Yeah. I have a
Stop
couple
it.
hits.
When we were in college, we used to play your one song all the time. Dude, everybody knew that song. Everybody.
Jake, you wrote a song though, the ballad of Tommy Finn.
Why is that? I wrote that when I was like 16.
Yeah,
Why can't
no.
any of my other ones shine through?
That one, the one you sang tonight was good. The one you sang tonight was good. I tried to convince him that he could sell. There's a group out there called the Irish Rovers. And then there's another one, what's Town Pants. They would buy that song. He could live off the royalties of that. Every month he'd get a check. That song is that good. It's that kind of a song. But no. Where's Dad? No, I'm just a dumb truck driver.
Because we all just want to be big rock stars.
Yeah, no. I don't know. I do things like pottery. Like, I don't like make any money being a potter. Like, I'm not a potter. I work for a clay manufacturer and I get to do pottery, So like I make the clay and I take it home and I just make stuff. But I don't make stuff to sell it. I make stuff because it makes me,
Because you love it.
yeah, because it makes me happy. Just like playing music. Like, I don't play music because like I want to sell my music. I play music so when I go to my buddy's house, I can't actually play music, so I just write it instead. You know what I mean? And we jam out on that.
He can't play music. He's a better guitar player than I ever will be.
Okay, if you ask me to sit down and play Freebird, I will not. I have no idea how that song even starts.
Well, I can play Freebird. You can't play Freebird?
You can play Freebird?
Yeah. I can play Hotel California.
I know you can play Hotel California.
Well, then maybe he isn't a better guitar player than me. I don't know.
Do a 1,000 subscriber special. All three of us grab guitars and just do a
Yeah.
musical session.
No shred-offs here.
Anyhow.
The only thing we're going to shred is tobacco.
Yeah, there we go.
Radical!
Dad, you should grow tobacco.
I have a tobacco leaf in there that George Bruno gave me.
Really?
He grows his own tobacco. Yeah, it's soon as it's ready, I'm gonna shred it up, and then I'll just put it in with one of my. I don't know if I'm gonna smoke it straight like that without anything in it, but
Are you gonna cure it? You have to cure it?
I don't know what to do with it. I have to look and see how to do it.
Probably a YouTube video for that somewhere.
There's YouTube for anything.
Yeah,
That's why we're on YouTube.
right?
Hey, these guys ought to feel privileged that I call them by their names, because Markwood Men's Breakfast Club, if you've ever watched that, Scott calls his son Seth Boy. This is Scott here with Boy. He calls his son Boy. So I at least acknowledge and say their name.
Yeah, Jake.
But I love you, Scott. Love you, Seth. You guys are great. Got a good channel. So I'm not ripping on you. I'm just saying I think it's funny.
Do you know what God of War is? Video game. And in God of War, the newest one, he has a kid and he calls him Boy. And he's like, "Get over here, boy."
Yeah,
Yeah,
see
it's
how
kinda, yeah.
not into video games. There was a John Wayne movie once, and he had a dog in the movie, and he called him Dog.
That's his name.
What was his name? Come on, dog.
I mean, I call Moose dog, but I call everybody dog. Like, dog's just, I don't say bro, I say dog. I don't know.
So what do you like about pottery the most? Why do you like pottery? Why did you what was the interest in it?
What was a history major, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
Courtney's an artist. So I got into, she told me to take an art class, and I took printmaking, which is just like making a big stamp. And then it got into cutting away the stamp step by step until you made a whole complete image, and it was very difficult. And I was like, yeah, art sucks. And then I took a pottery class because I don't even know why I took it, but I took it and I fell in love with it because it looks like magic. You know, when somebody's throwing on the wheel and you see like a ball of clay turn into something like a straight-sided cylinder, a jar, or a teapot, you know, you're like, you can't describe the first time you see somebody throw. And then when you fire it, there's a community that you get involved with. Like when you wood fire or you gas fire, you're firing for like 36 hours, okay? So this is not like turn the kiln on and walk away. No, it's like you're stoking this kiln for hours on end, and you need a community of people to do it. And so you meet new people, and you cook out, and you drink beer, and you watch the kiln.
And these are all people that like doing what you do.
Oh yeah, I mean everybody's piece is in the kiln. Like everybody puts a chunk of their work in the kiln. Then you all work to get it to temperature together. Then you have to wait a week for it to cool down because it gets to like 2,350 degrees or hotter. And then you break the door open, reach in there, see what survived, and just kind of look at everybody's pieces and see what happened and kind of get like a pseudo-scientific feel for the hot and cold spots in the kiln, where the ash flow is, how the air movement's working, you know, because these are all built to be draft kilns, so downdraft, updraft, step kilns, you know, they're all, there's a lot of real science that goes into it, but being a potter, it kind of becomes just observational science, you know, just kind of a pseudoscience.
So, like the pipe community, there's a community for potters. They call it potters.
There's a huge community for potters.
We call them potters.
And they get together and they throw. Throw is slang, is terminology for
Throwing pots. Yeah, you're making pots.
making pots together.
Yeah.
Think
So-
of the movie Goose.
And we talk and
Yeah.
you know, with our lingo in the pipe community, yabos, gauze, YPTC, or YTPC. Sorry, I had that backwards.
Well, you got
I don't know if I got very good in there or very good in there. I don't know.
a common phrase by us is, you know, I just flattened cone 11, meaning I took a cone that's specifically designed to melt at a 90-degree angle when it hits the perfect temperature. So if you flatten a cone 11, you're flattening something that's well over 2350, and it's going all the way to the bottom. And so that's a hot kiln. I mean, that's
So the interesting thing about it is we have a lot of pipe community guys.
yeah.
That, and I say guys because there are some women here, Harriet, Herford, Steph, the starving, the artist, pipe artist, Steph. I'm sorry, I get it wrong.
No cards.
But we get Bodie Crocker. He does his own thing. And we got 1972 Woodsman on top of pipe smoking. They do things. I'm getting into leather, doing leather stuff. And there's no greater enjoyment than making something out of your own two hands, right?
Oh yeah, no, yeah. There's definitely an aspect functional work out of your own two hands.
And you know what
I'd have
people
to
want
say.
today? They'd rather have handmade products than have something that's mass produced by a machine. I was showing him some coffee mugs that I have. What did you call them?
Slipcast.
Slipcast.
Yeah.
So it's for mass production. My son makes a lot of. He has a lot of stuff that I think is really nice looking stuff, but he can see the defects and the faults. But I think they're great. And we have the coffee mugs, we have the drinking glasses. I have a teapot that's really cool. So I'm trying to get him to make me some mugs because I want to put some mugs together with the logo on and give some away and giveaways that I do and stuff like that because he's talented. He knows what he's doing.
It's going to be a long process, though.
But it's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work to get it right.
But when you do things with your own hands, it's very self-rewarding. And then if other people notice it, that's just the icing on the cake. So, like the pipe community, what do you call yourselves? Pottery, clay makers, what?
Artists, craftsmen, potters.
Yeah, they're artisans.
Potters, yeah.
Yeah. So if you go to the arts and crafts shows, and you look at all the different artists there's leather. There was a beeswax one that I sent some stuff to Art at Pipes and Spirits, and then there was pottery stuff there. And it's funny because if we're somewhere and he sees somebody's pottery work, he critiques it. It's hilarious.
Yeah, you know how you can tell a good mug from a bad mug? Well, one, there's weight, okay, but if you can get over the whole weight thing, because everybody's got a different style, what you look for is their handle. Their handle's like their signature. You know, that's their John Hancock. That's how you know. Like, I can tell Courtney's mug from my professor's mug, from artists that come into like where we work's mugs, because of how they make their handles. If you can make a good handle and pull it from the mug and not like extrude it or I guess it's hard to describe to pipe smokers what I mean by pulling, but you're essentially pulling the handle from the mug, right? You're not extruding it from a clay gun with a preformed shape and a die. Like, you're pulling it.
It's coming from the mug clay itself.
Right. You roll a little cone of clay and stick it on and just pull it down. If you can pull a good handle, you're a top-notch potter, and that's how you know a good mug from a bad mug is good handle.
So, tell the folks, how many years have you been doing it?
I don't know, like
4, 5?
4, yeah, something like that.
You should see some of the work he's done. I think they're phenomenal, but I'm just, how do I say this? All right, I'm a musician.
Biased?
If I played music, if I go, yeah, I'm biased, but as a musician, if a lot of you play guitars on here, and we got to get together and do some picking and piping, but as a musician, if I go somewhere, someone would go, man, that song was great. And I'll go, no, it wasn't. He was off key on the one spot, or the guitar's out of tune. You can pick these things up. He can pick the stuff up. I don't see it. I think it looks fine. I like it the way it is. And I think down the road when he's world famous, his early work's going to go for a lot of money because if you look at artists from the past, their early stuff is worth a lot because it's where they were practicing and getting good and getting good and getting good. Some of them destroy it because they don't like it, and he's one of them that would probably like to do that. But I think Jake's going to have some really good pottery work down the road. I'm hoping that he pursues his dream, and if he makes a good go at it and gets a good business out of it, then so be it. But keep it, he'll probably keep it small because you're not one of those big mass-produced type of guys.
Well, you're getting into a pretty complex subject here. You're getting into like art in general and craft, and I think that just like pipe tobacco or food tasting or beer tasting or looking at art, everything is subjective. So although you think like I'm critiquing the work, yeah, I'm critiquing it. I'm looking at the basics like craftsmanship. Is the glaze on there right? Is the handle nice? Is the weight correct? Is it a nice lip? Does it have good balance? Is it a nice form? Okay, those are very not subjective things, but like when you get into like the colors and like what it is and some form, just like in art, like you can get very subjective. So you can't. It's rough looking at pottery and art because like I may not like something that somebody totally else digs for a real reason. You know what I mean? Like just like music. Like you may not like rap music. I may not like rap music, but there are a lot of people out there that dig the rap community.
And it's an art.
It's an art, and it's subjective. So
do you see the relational things we have going here? What he's talking about, the different things in pottery. We could do that with the tobaccos. We could do that with the pipes. That's a piece of art. That is artwork right there
But why is it art?
because somebody made that.
But what about it makes it crafted? What about it?
It's the fashion
Does
of
it
it.
draw nice? Does it
Yeah,
look nice?
you're looking at the draw. You're looking at
Does it
there's
fit
pipes.
your lips right?
There's pipes that look nice, and then there's pipes that smoke well.
Jake,
Yes.
You're trying to create a criteria.
No, it's very good
You
questions.
have to get out of the subjectiveness of it.
Well, what I tell people is what's been told to me is, and it might be this way with you with some of the stuff you do. I can pick the pipe, but the best pipe I smoke picked me. It's hard to explain how that works. My Svenborg is the best smoking pipe I have. Is it my favorite? No, but it's the best smoking pipe I have. There's something about that pipe. It draws well. It keeps the tobacco burning. It's a long burn. I can smoke that longer than I can smoke this, and we're talking that's that deep. So you're
Get hot.
if you puff a lot, it will get hot.
Yeah.
The Svenborg, no. Any other pipe?
That's the
yes.
one you had earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was nice.
That's a nice
Yeah,
flat pipe.
aesthetically, it's a pleasing pipe.
They're-
That one,
It's
basic.
this is your primitive pipe. My favorite pipes are the corncob pipes because one, they're cheap. Two, they smoke very well. And it's Americana. Look at that.
Yeah, yeah.
And you got the stem, the acrylic stem. It's Americana. Same thing. It's a relational thing to where we look at the tobaccos and the pipes. Does that tobacco smoke well in this pipe better than it does in another? Yes,
What about
it
the
does do
flavor,
that.
though? Do you have pipes that you just specifically use for one flavor?
Yeah,
or
I have.
a certain branch of flavors?
Yeah, I have a my church warden, that long one I have in there.
Yeah.
I generally only smoke my fireside in that. For some reason, I get the best smoke on the fireside in that. Although that's my daily smoke. I smoke that through the day off and on.
Right.
And it smokes well in other pipes. My favorite pipe to smoke it in is the church warden. And it gives me a cooler, smoother smoke, and that's probably why.
What do you prefer to pair your pipe with? Like, don't you get thirsty?
Coffee.
Just coffee?
Coffee.
You don't do-
I'll do bourbon, some bourbon. But I mainly do coffee. I
Does it
don't
accentuate the flavors, or does it accentuate the coffee flavor?
I think they both.
Okay.
It does for me it
It's
does
a
both.
compliment then.
Yeah, they complement each other well. Now I'll drink my Southern Comfort with Fireside, with Blue Danube, and with Blue Ridge. Now my Berry Good, my Appalachian Berry, my apple flavor, they smoke great with coffee. And it doesn't matter what the flavor is, they smoke great with coffee. Then I have some other blends that I don't really drink anything when I'm smoking them because I just really want to taste them. Because there's stuff in there that I was showing my son. I haven't even tried them yet. It's a lot of it's stuff that's been sent to me. So, but yeah, there's a lot of similarities in the pipe community and in the pottery community where there's relational things. There's a camaraderie in there, right?
Well, yeah, there's always community. That's why people, take to pottery so much. Is there's a large community,
And it's-
typically a young liberal community,
And
but
it's
whatever.
it's good encouragement community, right?
Depends. I mean, there are people out there that I call pompous potters because their pompery is too much for me. And yeah, you think you're the best, but that's subjective. Like just because.
But you don't act like that with others. You don't act like that with others.
I try not to. I mean, I sell clay, so like my pottery is not on the forefront. My pottery is like an after talk kind of deal. Like, hey, let me show you some pots that I make, kind of deal. It's mostly I sell clay, and I talk to people about their pots, and I help them develop. So like my job makes me work with people instead of promote myself.
And at the same time, you can learn from them.
Yeah, I mean, yes, you do definitely. When I work with when I did Touchstone Center for Crafts, I worked with masters of the craft. I worked with Martha Grover, Akira Sataki, Mike Jabber, people like that were teaching at college level or professional studio potters or traditional Japanese potters that were just at the top of their game. Standard is teachers and people who just go to their local studio in Pittsburgh, and hang out and want to do pottery. So they're learning themselves, and
There's
they
a
come to us
huge
with
art
questions.
community out that way.
Right.
With not just pottery, with a lot of, it's really neat. I went out to, what was that convention we went, or that show we went to the last time Sharon and I came out, last winter. It was at the convention center down along the river. But there was some really neat
that
stuff.
was Handmade Arcade.
Yeah.
Well, we just had NCECO, which is the National Ceramics Education. It's the big community. The umbrella for our community is NCECA, which travels all over the country, and they bring in. It's the biggest art convention in the world. So they bring in thousands of potters every year at a different city.
So you see the similarities? He gets excited when he talks about pottery. And what do when we get, we get a yabo. A yabo is a gift that you get from someone else. And we're like kids at Christmas time.
Right.
Stuff. And we get excited when we talk about pipes. But it's a lost art. Pipe smoking is like letter writing, a lost art.
Well, that's the other thing that we
Pottery,
should touch
there's
on.
not many potters
They're
out there.
We're growing.
They're getting back.
The
They're getting
advent
back.
of the electric kiln, being in people's basements, has brought pottery back. What we are losing is the process, and that's what I was going to get to earlier. Is like process in pipe smoking, in art, in music, in everything. The process of doing something is crucial. So firing kilns, people can just click a button now and walk away.
And not go through the...
Not go through the steps, the rigors to understand reduction and how to keep a kiln hot, how to even a kiln out, things like that. They're losing what made pottery, like wood
There was
firing.
specific steps
Yeah,
to do it and do it well.
the process from A to B. You nowadays you make pots at a studio. You glaze them, so you have making and glazing as a process, but the final process, the firing process, you usually leave to the people who run the studios, which you're losing kind of out on that art. So you try to encourage people to get involved in that stuff, because when you don't know how to load a kiln or you don't know how to fire a kiln, you can't finish your own art and you can't be self-sufficient. So you have to love every
Interesting.
part of the process. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
From
interesting.
wedging to throwing to trimming to glazing to firing the kiln. You have to love every process if you're going to be a real potter, if you're going to be a true potter. And I think we're losing that with some of the
That's interesting.
clicking the buttons and walking away kilns, which there's nothing wrong with that, because it brings it into the household and it brings it to people who can't afford a big gas kiln. But that shouldn't stop you from going out and finding that community and delving into it and meeting people. You know what I mean? The whole thing that goes along with your hobbies, the passion, the community, the process, the learning, you should always continue to try and
He
grow.
needs to have his own YouTube channel. I'm sure there's a YouTube community out there with pottery.
I don't have 30 minutes to
Hey,
talk.
listen, this is the longest video I've ever done. So, with that, I'm gonna end up closing it. But I just wanted to smoke a pipe and have a session with my sons, and it ended up being a whole different thing. So, we got Jake and Mitch. Mitch, he's over there hiding. That came along, and Jake ended up sharing about pottery. Listen, folks, stay tuned, because some of his stuff is going to be featured. Maybe we'll throw one of his coffee mugs in the mix for the giveaway that I'm going to be doing. Maybe I can talk Jake into sending him a mug, and we can put that in, because a lot of you guys, like me, like your coffee with your pipes.
I should make you a pipe.
Well, yeah, your uncle and I are starting to
No, I should make
do
you
our
a
own
clay
stuff.
pipe.
A clay pipe?
Make
You
a
should
clay
see the
pipe.
one I have in there.
You have a clay pipe?
Yeah, I'll share that to him. It's a rare one. But anyhow, I'm going to let y'all go. Thanks for joining us tonight on the after dinner pipe and sort of coffee. We didn't really do the coffee because we wanted to get out here and make this video real quick. So with that, I will talk to y'all later. I appreciate you coming out and watching the Bearded Welshman and Sons tonight for after dinner pipe and coffee. And I will get back with you soon. Hope to do a fireside chat video tonight, which won't be long because I have to get up early and go to work tomorrow. With that, light them up.